Well, earlier today, I had the extreme pleasure, amen, of watching a bunch of ladies from, where were they, Kathleen? Montgomery, Alabama? I think they were in Montgomery. A bunch of ladies got together, all Christians, all white, all Republican ladies. And in the group was Kayla Moore. And the reason these Christian ladies were there was to let the United States of America know that the Washington Post is a lying motherfucker, which is not the way they put it, but but the Washington Post is just a liar, just a bunch of lies, and that a judge, he's not a judge anymore, he's been his ass thrown off the bench twice, Judge Roy Moore was nothing but a spiritual leader and a follower of God and a good old Christian. And then they brought old Kayla Moore out. And Kayla came out. I swear to God, Kayla looked like a wrinkled cheerleader, didn't she? With that hair just all swept over here, and then the great big old extension on the back, make it look like a big old ponytail. I just about shit my britches. I mean, it always upsets me to see someone in their 60s trying to dress like they're in their 20s. Now, here in the South, that happens a lot, especially among white Christian ladies. White Christian ladies will do that as they start to age a little bit, because they know they got to keep their men folk focused on them, because they know, amen, that their men folk will drift a little bit. But ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of a drift, as long as they, don't go too far away. I got to stop talking like that. One of these days, my mouth or my vocal cords are going to freeze in that configuration. I'll be forced to talk like a redneck hillbilly from Alabama for the rest of my life. I'll tell you what I got out of that group of Alabama white conservative ladies taking up the defense of Judge Roy Moore, of course, never mentioning anything except the Washington Post, how the Washington Post is a bunch of liars. It was going to be, the power of God was going to smite them. But here's what stuck with me. Every single one of those women who spoke at that little rally for Judge Roy Moore this morning, I don't know how they would, I honestly don't know how they would react if they found out that their husband was an ass grabber and their husband liked to hunt down teenage girls and try to get in the back seat of the car and do things to them. I can't, and I struggle with this. I struggle looking at these good white Christian ladies, and they appeared to be from, I guess about in their 30s up to about in their 60s. Kayla must be approaching 70, 65, 66. But this age group, and Kayla Moore, Judge Roy Moore's wife, had little diamond earrings on, or not diamonds, but zirconium, shaped like crosses. Now, it didn't have the bloody corpse on it. There was no tortured and crucified Jew hanging on her ears, but there was pretty old crosses, God damn it, I'm a Christian. But here's the thought that occurred to me as I listened to these women offering up this full-throated defense of their boy Roy. Now, they do the same for their boy Donald Trump. We're concerned Donald Trump, of course, they just keep their mouths shut. After all, they are women. And, it says in the Bible when Paul wrote to the church in Corinth, I think it was in the Corinthians, where Paul wrote that women should shut up. He was referring to church, but women should not speak. And by extension, that means they should shut up outside of church too. But the good Christian ladies in Alabama who were defending Roy Moore's reputation of being a good Christian man who, by the way, graduated from West Point and committed all kinds of war crimes over in Vietnam. Now, they didn't put it that way, of course, but he was in Vietnam. But these good Christian ladies, all white, all conservative, all Alabamians. One thing became clear to me. These women understand their position. This is the thing about Christian women. Let me clue you in on something here. There's not an evangelical or fundamentalist Christian woman who doesn't understand how guilty she is for fucking up the entire world and the entire human race. So when I see a dog and pony show like I saw this morning, with Kayla Moore out there, with her 20-year-old hairstyle and her late 50s, early 60s face, I don't give a shit. If this is an ad hominem attack, I really don't care. That kind of stuff just drives me crazy. If you're an adult, fucking act like one, dress like one, conduct yourself like one. But so many of these Southern church ladies, that's what they do. I don't know what it is. I guess it's a horrible fear of aging, a horrible fear of aging. That if they don't look like a perpetual 20-something, their husbands are going to violate one of the commandments, amen. Of course, Jesus will forgive them. So what's the problem? It's just the way Christianity is practiced has got to be one of the most screwball philosophies ever put together. It's just madness. Here's Roy Moore, who is the kind of Christian fundamentalist who wants to fucking collapse, destroy the federal government, the U.S. government, and its offshoots, the state governments. Because they are of this earth. Get rid of them. And let's install God's law. Now, all of God's law for these Christian psychos was laid down in the Old Testament. There's no God's law in the New Testament. It's in the Old Testament. And that's some hardcore shit in there, man. If you want to have a theocracy, a Christian theocracy, be prepared for more blood and death and destruction than you could possibly imagine. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go back and read the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. Just do it. Just read them.